Hello, everyone. How are you? This is going to be very exciting. I'm very excited. We're going to show you how to cash out for huge lump sums for your internet properties, whether it's a domain name, a website, or a funnel. It doesn't even matter if it makes money or not. I'm going to show you how I've been able to sell these types of domain names and websites for upwards of $238,000 all at once in one transaction. I've done it over and over again. I'm very, very excited to be able to show everyone how to do this. And we're going to have a very exciting webinar. Let's get right down to it. If everyone isn't familiar, you can access the questions box. You can tell me how you're doing. Heck, you can even let me know your domain name or your funnel or your website, and I'll be happy to talk with you about how much it might be worth and how much you might be able to get paid for it. All right? So let's jump into it. If you don't know already, my name is Jamie Lewis. I've been doing marketing since 2004. I'm also a musician. I'm an investor. Entrepreneur, all around, master of all trades, so to speak. So I'm going to share a lot of what I've been doing this last few years when it comes to investing and selling domain names and websites and funnels, and I'm very happy to be able to do so. So as you can see here, I just got back from Portugal. I was speaking at an event there on stage, spent a lot of time on the beach with some business partners of mine. Took a picture, I gave it a caption, Portugal's fabulous, posted it on Facebook. A lot of my fans and past clients really dug it a lot, as you can see there. And I spoke on stage regarding this business model, flipping domains, flipping websites. That's what I've had a lot of experience for. And a lot of the time on Facebook when people ask, hey, who has the best domaining software out there? A lot of the other people in the comments will say, Jamie Lewis. Jamie Lewis is the man to talk to about flipping websites. If you don't know already, this is also known as an exit strategy. All right, you might have heard that term in business. It's when you have a business that's thriving or whatnot. Heck, you can exit. You can cash out. You can sell the entire business or the internet property, and an investor will give you a big lump sum. Now, there's many different ways that you can acquire such amounts of money like this. All right, I've done it anywhere from $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, $238,000. I even sold websites for $420,000. I've sold a website for $575,000. And we're going to talk a lot about how to get paid. As you can see here, here's a screenshot of my escrow account. And then that's a screenshot of my bank account where I did $633,000 in 3 months. And remember, this is after the fees that you pay either Flip or eBay or a broker or privately. Of course, all of these companies that you use to get paid, they're going to take a little bit of it, right? Even if you get paid through PayPal, they're going to take a little bit of it. And this is my deposits into the bank after expenses. This is entirely profit. I didn't have expenses to do this. And I know there might be some people out there that are a little bit skeptical, and don't worry, that's only natural. I don't blame you. $633,000 in a 90-day period, that's an average of $200,000 a month. And so there'd probably be something wrong with you if you had just heard of this just today and you were like, wow, I totally believe that. That happens every day. If that happened every day, everybody would be driving a Ferrari, right? And we know that's not the case. Everybody works a 9-to-5 job, slaving away, because for some reason this is not really talked about. The closest you probably heard about something like this is when you watch the Super Bowl and you watch a GoDaddy commercial, right? So look, I'm going to give you the inside track. Of course, you're going to learn how it goes down, what values a domain. You're also going to learn what we can do for you in terms of appraising your domains and helping you sell them and all that. So let's get started and get into the nitty-gritty, the actual skeleton and the outline of how to get paid these amounts of money. How is an investor going to pay for your domain name or your website? Well, there's a few different ways. The first thing I want to talk about is escrow.com. I recommend getting an escrow.com account immediately if you're interested in this, because that's a lot of the time the norm. That's the default that an investor will trust. He'll trust escrow.com to get you the funds, and you can transfer the website or the domain name to him. And then escrow releases those funds to you after the domain name is transferred. So the money is in purgatory, so to speak. It's frozen there, and it's waiting until you do the transfer, and then they'll release the money. The other way to sell a website is with Flippa.com, which you've probably heard about. Now, I'm not really going to be talking a lot about Flippa in this webinar because we're going to be talking mainly about a different strategy that's done privately. The brokering is done privately, and therefore it's not on a marketplace where it's really super competitive, and you're not getting as much for your website as it's really worth. For instance, we're going to be talking mainly about selling a website or an internet property for up to 10 years of projected earnings. Also 10 years of projected traffic. That is if it doesn't make any money. And therefore, you don't need to worry about if your website is making a ton of money with this strategy. But we're going to be looking at 10 years versus selling a website on Flippa where it's going to be valued at like 6 months or something. Okay? So as you know, if your website is getting maybe $10,000 a year, right? It makes $10,000 a year. You can multiply that by 10, which is 100,000 versus 5,000 on Flippa. Okay, big difference there. All right, so let's look at the internals of an actual deal I did a couple of years ago, just as a case study, all right? This was a pretty impressive deal, and it actually happened very, very fast. There was $575,000 that I received cash at closing, and then there was a potential for me to make $1.4 million from the client, from the investor, over time. It's still actually even going, all right? I'm getting paid like you would from a severance package or a 401k, etc. It's residual income after I got that big lump sum in the beginning. This was the actual email that we received from the investor. The investor had millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he also had access to banking loans and all of that type of stuff that you and me, we really aren't experts in. Heck, we're marketers, we're domainers, we're webmasters. And the webmaster and the domainer selling something to an investor is a match made in heaven, as you can see here. So this is an actual email. You can take a look at it. There is a heck of a lot of legal jargon in here, but don't worry, this is the easiest model to make this amount of money online. I can't think of any other business model where you can make $575,000 all at once without doing really anything at all. Okay, think about it. To make $575,000 in one day as an affiliate marketer or as a webmaster, you're probably going to be working pretty hard, right? Well, there's a reason why the richest people on the planet all engage in this business model, and you'll see why. Take a look at this offer here. This is another asset purchase. I've blocked out all of the sensitive information as I signed a non-compete, but this is a letter of intent. This is the letter that you get that'll allow you to take the website or the domain off the market and reserve it for the client or the investor who's just going to quickly look through everything, make sure that everything's legit and that you own the domain, etc. And this offer is a great example of a pretty good lump sum here. This was for $475,000, as you can see here. And this was very recent. This was in 2017. There was $20,000 earnest money deposit. That was right off the bat, even before the client even looked through the website and all of the financials and the traffic. And then there was $384,000 additional cash at closing. And then a $71,000 seller standby note, which is paid off over a year. Now you might think, Jamie, this is you. You have experience here, but I have no experience. I'm not going to be able to do this. You're absolutely wrong about that, my brother or sister. You've got to understand that this is easy. This is something that anyone can do. Look, there's not many moving parts here. You don't need to worry about your website going down. You don't need to worry about if you're going to get an affiliate or if you're going to get banned from AdWords or anything like that. There aren't very many moving parts. This just has to do with intrinsic value. All right, so write all these notes down. I hope you guys are following along here. We're going to move on to some of the dynamics and exactly how I did this. So as I was saying, you can get up to 10 years of projected earnings or projected traffic or projected potential for an advanced lump sum. So let's talk about the value calculation based on traffic first, okay? This is based on 10 years of projected traffic. So if your website gets 10 hits a day, we can value it at $1 per click, right? Or $1 per hit. And that would give us a value of $3,650. All right. Yes, only 10 hits a day. You guys, if you have a WordPress blog or you have some type of PLR site or some pile of crap, right? There is a potential of being able to sell that to the right buyer for $3,650. You might be saying right now, Jamie, you're full of it. I am absolutely not full of it. I know these millionaires are looking for a tax deduction, guys. All right. And you should know that too. At the end of the year, they have too much money in their banks based on whatever they're investing in, cryptocurrencies, stocks, Forex. And they're like, oh crap, we've got to put it into something. And what better place to put it in for a website that does 10 hits a day? Heck, that's going to be able to make revenue if it's monetized correctly. Heck, even if it doesn't make revenue, they can put it in there knowing that they can resell it the same way that they bought it. Okay? If it makes 100 hits a day, it's going to be worth $36,500 based on this valuation. And if it does 1,000 hits a day, it's going to be worth $365,000. Okay? At that point, 1,000 hits a day, you're probably going to be making money, which brings us to the value calculation 2. This is based on monetary earnings, okay? And this is when we get into if your website makes money. This is where we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun. Now we're going to go up 10x, all right? We're going to go 10 times. So we're going to value it at the $10 mark, okay? So $10 a day, we're going to be looking at it's worth $36,500, okay? $10 a day is $3,650 a year, okay? Now, if you were to sell that website for 1 year's earnings, like on Flippa or something, you're going to get about $3,650. You've probably seen that a lot. And the reason you see that a lot is because on Flippa, there's a bunch of competitive sharks, and the sellers, they don't know about being able to do it privately. They don't know what that's about. They just think to themselves, oh, you know what? It's easy. There's a ton of people on Flippa, and I'll be able to post it there, and it's sure to sell, and it'll sell quickly, and it's an easy way to do it, no pain involved. And you know what? They're right. But what about selling it for 10 years of earnings? And heck, you can wait a little bit longer than a 7 to 10 days auction or whatnot on Flippa, okay? Wait a little bit, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then we're getting into offers. We're going to be able to get you some offers for 10 years. And I know a lot of you guys here in the webinar, you guys probably have websites that do up to $100 a day, right? I mean, this isn't that unrealistic. I mean, I know for a fact that I myself, I could probably in a couple hours get your website doing $100 a day with a Facebook page or with AdSense or with some YouTube videos and paid traffic, right? Well, a website that makes $100 a day with 10-year buyout would be $365,000 lump sum, okay? And that's done privately. That's done with this strategy. If your website does $1,000 a day and you get paid a lump sum based on 10 years of projected monetary earnings, that's a $3.6 million sale. Now, you probably heard about that. You know what? If Facebook were to sell out tomorrow, I know it probably wouldn't happen, but you betcha that they're going to get paid 10 years of projected monetary earnings. All right, so you guys following along? Let me know in the questions box. If you are having any trouble following along, I'll probably back up. I know it might be a little bit of information overload, but look, it's pretty simple. You know, we're talking about selling the same way you'd sell a house in real estate. All right, looking good, guys. Great, great. All right, so here, let's take a look at an actual email that was sent from an investor to me, as well as the escrow agent that he was using. Remember when I showed you those screenshots with escrow.com, and you could see, you know, 50,000, 10,000, 238,000, 180,000, etc., all the way down the page? Well, heck, there was a whole bunch of other transactions that I got this way, where the escrow agent was in charge of the money and distributed the money to me after I transferred the website. And this is what it looks like when the investor emails the escrow agent letting them know, hey, I'm about to buy something here. This is what he said. He said, hi, John, I've made an offer for the assets of the website and the LOI is attached. The seller, Jamie Lewis, and I have agreed to have you act as an escrow agent for the transaction. And then he talks about how he's working with a bank who that's going to fund the transaction. And he didn't even have to personally come up with any money. He's financing it through a bank. And he's using other people's money. And that's why these investors do it so easy. It happens all the time, and you guys probably haven't known this. Look at how happy he is here in an email he wrote to me. He says, I am excited to have the opportunity to purchase your business and build on what you've done. And congratulations on your success in creating it. As you can see that, look, the keyword, build on what you have done. That is what people are very, very excited to do. So if you guys have a website that is just sitting there and is not doing anything at all, these people have money. They have money to throw at it. Heck, turn on a Facebook ads account and drive traffic through it. And heck, their investment, their tax deduction, it's going to end up making money, right? So it makes total sense for someone in that position to buy you out. It's a great thing. So I want to answer some of these questions regarding who has been able to replicate what I do. For instance, my students and the people I've brokered websites for, who's doing really successful? Who else other than me is doing this? Now remember, if you go on Facebook and you say, hey, who's the best at selling websites, you're going to see it's a unanimous decision. Everyone's going to tell you Jamie Lewis from Domainer Elite knows how to sell websites. And as the owner of the Domainer Elite marketplace, I can personally tell you that I'm responsible for thousands and thousands of website sales other than my own. Let's take a look at a very, very successful entrepreneur who has used my strategies and has used my resources and my brokering to do the same thing. His name's Matthew Neer. Let's take a look. This is going to be very exciting.
Hi, what up, man? How you doing?
There he is.
What's going down?
What's going on, big man?
Chilling, bro.
Well, welcome to the Jamie Lewis Show. This is Matthew Neer. That's right. This is Matthew Neer right here. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. No complaints. The internet's treating me well.
Cool. This is the 7-figure man right here.
Dude, yeah, it's been a crazy one, man. But yeah, we're over 7 figures in sales this year. It's nuts.
Cool. You think this year, 2017, you're going to hit 8 figures?
Shit, that's a big jump, man. I don't know. We'll see if we can do it. Maybe 2 for sure, but 8, we'll see.
Awesome, man. So what quarter of 2016 did things really start popping off for you?
Shit, all year, bro. They just started crushing it since January last year.
Nice. Yeah, man. So you're seeing like 6 figures a month?
Yeah, it's nuts, bro. It just it's hard to turn it off.
That's pretty incredible. Matthew does over $1 million a year, as he was saying there. You can do the same thing. In fact, I would love to take a look at your websites and your domain names, whether they're making money or not, and flip them for you. Now, as you can see here in my JVZoo account, I've got a list of 9,800 buyers. These are customers of mine. Now, I can very, very easily send out an email promotion selling your domains and websites. Now, I'm not going to do this for everyone, of course, because there's limited space in my autoresponder. And heck, I have limited time. I only like to work about 4 hours a day, and a lot of it is done maintaining my domaining business and working with my clients. But if I can properly qualify you right here on this webinar, I can just throw some questions at you, and if you answer yes to all of them, then I think it might be a really good fit. The first thing that's very, very necessary if we're going to work together is if you are very good at answering emails, all right? Now, if you don't check your email, then it might not work, because if I get a buyer for you, which I probably will with my list, you're going to have to answer the email and do it quickly, because the buyer might change his mind. Now, it's not the end of the world. We can get another buyer pretty easily, but it's very important that you answer your emails or your text. Is that cool, everyone? I think everyone would agree. Look, if we're going to be working together, you're probably going to be pretty eager, right? The truth is I'm going to be able to get hundreds and hundreds of buyers to look at your listing, and I'm very, very good at being able to sell them for you. But again, I'm not going to work with everyone, of course. I'm only going to work with the most qualified and the most positive people. And heck, if you don't have anything yet, if you don't have a domain or a website, it's very, very easy for us to set you up with a domain or a website or a funnel using the Domainer Elite system. We've got the best domain mining software on the planet. Hands down, ask anyone about it. It's super easy. Within minutes, you can be up and running with your own domain and your own website. A great keyword domain that has intrinsic value and is worth something. Even the domain name is worth something. And so with that being said, I would like to invite you to work with us. But first, I'm just going to let you know a little bit about what you're up against if you were to go to any broker at any of the website broker websites. They will not even touch your website unless it makes $100,000 a year, okay? That's a lot of money right there every year. Now, that would be $1 million website as the minimum. And if you were somehow able to work with them, they'd probably charge you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 right off the bat. As you know, of course, a lot of the marketing programs online, they're going to charge you $20,000, $30,000, which I think is ridiculous, okay? There's a lot of programs out there that have taken $250,000 from people and all this crazy stuff. If you've followed me, if you've seen me on YouTube, you know I'm very, very strongly against spending money, okay? Spending money to make money is not my cup of tea. We're not investors here. We're marketers. We're creators. Okay? We're looking for people who like to spend money. We're not looking to spend money ourselves, right? So, look, what I'm going to do for you guys today is I'm going to give you the opportunity to have me build your business for you and sell it. All right? Now, if you already have your funnels, that's all good. I'm still going to build up that business. I'm going to maximize it first so that we can get the most maximum amounts of money from all of these hungry buyers in the marketplace, all these people on my list. I not only have the 9,800 customers, but I also have over 150,000 subscribers. So it'd be literally impossible for us to fail at this. If you guys are having trouble with getting your domain name up or your website up, have no fear. We're going to be able to do that very, very quickly with my team. But the only thing I ask is that, again, be communicative with the emails, because when those buyers are interested in your domains or your websites, then you've got to be there. You got to be right there. Within 12 hours, get back to the CC in the private Gmail thread that I set up, okay? All right, it's going to be real simple. I'll say, hey, if your name's Bob, I'll say, hey, Bob, we've got a buyer here. He's interested. This is the amount. Do you accept the offer? It's for $170,000. At that point, you can either say yes or no. If you're like, yeah, well, you know what? It was pretty quick, Jamie. Think maybe we can hold on to it and get something a little bit more. You always have that option. But that's the idea, okay? And then the next thing is just remember that I'm only going to be allowing 10 people in this last quarter of 2017. I'm only going to be working with 10 exclusive clients that are very, very good to work with. And therefore, let me tell you a little bit about the ins and outs of this package that I'm going to be running by you. We don't usually do this, but we're going to be doing this for the last quarter of 2017. We're going out with a bang. We're going to do your custom development. Now, what this means is we're going to do your graphics. We're going to be able to do your copy. We're going to get the website up. We're going to be able to run traffic. We're going to be able to develop your business for you. My team and I have been doing this for a long time, and we're very proud of what we do. We've got a great production house. We're very creative. We do great graphics, great branding, and we really create household names here. As you can see there's a screenshot of some of my past creations for clients. And a lot of these creations have been able to be sold for much more than you would ever get on Flippo or on GoDaddy. I'm also, of course, as I was explaining, going to be your personal broker, working as your guy the same way as when you want to sell your house. What do? You go to a real estate agency and you sell your house. It's usually a lot more expensive than a website, because online, this is virtual real estate. There's not the necessary, I need $20,000 up front or $30,000 up front to sell the house. This is going to be very, very easy for you to get into, okay? It's virtual real estate. And then, of course, I'm the guy who everyone on Facebook and everyone on the internet goes to when they want to sell a website. And I'm very, very happy to potentially work with you. Next up, we're going to also give you the domaining software. Now, if you've never heard of Domainer Elite Pro, this is the software that finds domain names that cost $9 on GoDaddy. When you search on GoDaddy for a domain name and it says, congratulations, your domain is available. It's available for $9. Domainer Elite finds these types of domain names that are available, but guess what? They're worth $10,000. Domain names like soccerprofessional.com or dogtraining.com or refurbishedfurniture.com, etc. Not only am I going to be brokering your domain names personally with you via a Gmail thread, But you're also going to have all your other domain names and your websites in our private marketplace. So not only are we going to be trying to go for that $238,000 sale for you, but we're also going to be able to sell your domains for $500, $1,000, $2,000 in our marketplace. And these are domain names that might not even be those premium domains like dogtraining.com, etc. And you're also going to get live webinar training with yours truly twice a week forever. Okay, we've been doing the live webinar training for students since 2011. We've done over 600 of these webinars. Every week we do 2 of them. You need a shoulder to lean on, or you need to hold a mentor's hand? Well, think about being in a live training webinar with me and only 20 of my students. You know, I've got alumni students on there as well, and it's 3 of us, and we're teaching you personally what you're missing, what you need to do. And anytime you need some education or you need some guidance, you just come on the webinar and we work with you. And there's only 20 other people in there. It's not like in this webinar where there's 1,000 of you guys, you know? So this is a great, great addition to everything else that we've explained so far. And last but not least, you know what you're also going to get? You're going to be able to download my entire hard drive, and you can put together websites yourself. There's PLR in there. There's all sorts of campaigns and all these solutions. There's over 2 gigabytes of material in there. Heck, the hard drive is worth over $5,000, $10,000 of graphics by itself. There's stock photos in there, everything that you need. But your first $238,000 sale is going to come from me acting as your personal broker. That's the most important thing here, and I don't want you to forget that. This is entirely done for you, whether you have your own funnel already or not. We're going to develop your first funnel, your first website with an amazing brandable domain, and then we're going to work as your personal broker. This type of offer doesn't exist anywhere, and I think, honestly, you probably agree you'd be on planet Mars if we weren't in agreement on this. So what do you think, guys? You want me to let you know how to get in right now? Well, I'll tell you what, as you know, there's other people in this webinar. You're going to have to move quick, because there's a lot of other people on this webinar that are also going to try to move quick, and then this offer will disappear after the 10 spots are filled. Remember, this would cost over $20,000 anywhere else. What you can do right now is right below this video, you can get in. You want to click on that yellow button there, and this is the amount of money you pay for a couple months of an oil bill, or the amount that you spend for a couple months of health insurance. It's hardly anything at all. But the difference between this and the other types of necessities and expenses that you're usually used to is this one makes a lot of money. All right. So what I want you to do is either decide on if you want to do it all at once for $14.97, or if you want to do 2 payments, and it's a little bit more in the end, but it might be a little bit more convenient for you depending on your budget. And remember, this comes with a 100% risk-free success guarantee. If you need more information on that, please check out the info at the bottom of the page. And I would say get on it immediately, because we can only take 10 people right now. We are going to be brokering your domain and your website and helping you get that first $238,000 sale like I did effortlessly. I don't want to see you left out in a sea of regret. I've seen people cry before when I do these exclusive offers. People are thinking, oh no, it's just hype. It's just a gimmick. Ask anyone. Jamie Lewis doesn't do gimmicks. I've got to get off the webinar now, because any minute now, I'm going to have 10 new clients to attend to and get $200,000 sales for. All right. So, hey, thank you guys so much for being here on this webinar. As you can see there, right below this video, there's the button. I look forward to working with you. We're going to have a great time together, and this is going to be very exciting. Let's get you that first $238,000 sale as your personal broker, selling your assets that you already have or you need done. And I look forward to being your production company and your broker at the same time. So thanks everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to working with you. Signing off.